Hello, this is Mandy with Scott Leroy Marketing. Today's class is going to be setting goals for 2025. I hope you get a ton out of this class. I'm super excited to show this to you in your command account. If you're here with me live, you can definitely drop any questions or comments that you have in the chat. I'll try to get those answered for you in real time. And if our class ends a few minutes early, which this one typically does, I'll be happy to stay afterwards and help get any questions answered for you then if I didn't happen to get to them during the class. If you are watching this back on recording, you can always reach out to us via email at support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we'll be happy to help. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in here to command. First thing, right here on your command dashboard, you actually have a widget available to check your goals. I want to show you that first, and then we'll take a deep dive into your goals tab and actually getting those set up for this next year or even this current year. If you haven't set any for this year, you can go in. It's still not too late. You can go in and adjust those if you want to look at them for your last month. Um, but right here on the dashboard, let's look at how to get that goals widget up. You would come right here to your customize button in the top right. And on the left-hand side, you can choose which widgets you want to show and then which widgets you want to show in what order. So on the left-hand side, just make sure you have a check mark beside the widgets that you want. We already have goals selected right here, and you can unselect any that you don't want to see. And then over on the right-hand side, you can reorder those. So let's go ahead and drag and drop goals up here at the top. That way we'll see it first thing when we log in and click apply. And click apply. There we go. All right. So now we can see our goals widget right here on the left. Now we've already set our goals for this year and for next. And so that's why we're seeing our goals here. These are for 2024. Please know that your goals do pull information from your opportunities. So these will update after your office goes through transmittal. You know how they do transmittal? It's usually in a perfect world, it would probably just be the last day of the month. But in most cases, it usually encompasses the last couple of days of the month and the first couple of days of the new month. So whenever your office completes that transmittal process, you should see your goals update within your command, because again, these do pull from your opportunities. Okay. Right here on the widget, you have a couple of filters that you can kind of sort through. If you want to see your goals year to date or month to date, you can select that just to take a gander. And what this is actually showing you are how many leads that you've had year to date. Your annual goal was listed below it. And in the center, what you're seeing is the percentage of what you've met so far for your yearly goals. Those leads turn into appointments, turn into going under contract, turn into closed units, right? And so that's why you're seeing this graph slide over to the right. So it shows you how many appointments you've had, how many opportunities you currently have under contract, and how many opportunities you've actually closed for this year. So again, the little number 5 year to date, 2 year to date, and then your annual goals will be listed at the bottom. You can even hover over that percentage in the middle and you can see what percentage was listings and what percentage was buyers. Kind of gives you another metric for your business there. At the end, this is your GCI. This is your gross commission income. And so it shows you what your goal is, right? Excuse me. What your your goal is right here, estimated total GCI for the annual year. And then right here is how much you've hit so far. And then your percentage in the middle. Okay. So far we are at 64% of our total GCI goal for the year. Now, this is just again a preview widget right here on your command dashboard. So we can actually go now to your goals tab and start looking at this on an expanded level, and then we'll deep dive into how to get it set up within your own account. So let's travel over here to our reports tab on the left, little bar graph. If you're not familiar with the icons just yet, always click that red square at the top and it will pop the names out for you. And you can click that red square again to hide them. But we'll go ahead and go to our reports tab. And right here within your reports tab, you can see your goals tab up here at the top. We do have another class called Tasks and Reports. You can find that archive on our YouTube channel. It deep dives into all of the reports that are back here, along with the tasks as well within your command account. So if you're ever curious about the other tabs that you're seeing here, you can go check out that class. For today, we're going to focus right here on our goals and just what I shared with you guys about how this updates from your opportunities. You may see this blue banner here letting you know that same information. So it doesn't update automatically. If you just put an opportunity into the under contract phase yesterday, or if you just closed a transaction today, you won't see it reflected here in your goals just yet. It will need to wait until after the transmittal period for your market center. And so pretty much a safe bet would say by the end of the first week of the month, you should see your goals updated within this tab. Okay. And so right here on the goals tab, let's just do a big review of what this is showing you here. And then I'll go through and show you how to get these set up. Now notice we have these set up for 2024 goals. You can always come here and toggle between this current year and the next year. Okay. So if we toggle to see 2025, notice how it gives us a timer, lets us know just how long it's going to be before those goals start populating. Okay. So we'll go ahead and swap it back to 2024 so that you can see our numbers here. This first graph looks very similar to your widget that was on your dashboard. You do have some sort options over here on the top right as well. Shows you listings and buyers or all. And you can also view this year or this month. There's also a comparative item right here if you would like to compare your numbers with other agents. So if you turn on the compare option, notice the rings kind of doubled right here. That's because the gray ring on the inside right here, that's the comparative ring. If you see where I'm hovering over it, if that text is not too tiny, you can see that we've actually reached 5% of our own goal that we set for ourselves with how many contacts we wanted to get this year. And compared to other agents, they've already hit 87% of their contact goal. Now, don't judge us too harshly. This is a demo account, and hopefully your numbers look better. But you can go through here and compare yourself against all other KW agents. And in the drop down, it gives you a few other options: agents within your market center, agents in your state, all KW agents like we just saw. And then these are my favorite down here. These are against top producing agents. You can compare yourself against the top 10% producing KW agents, against agents that are in your current production bracket, but also agents in the production bracket above yours. This is probably my personal favorite just because it lets you know how are you tracking for the next step of growth in your business. So you can come in here and select agents in your production bracket above yours, and then come check out where you are in comparison to them. When you hover over these circles, it shows you, well, I find that hard to believe. So apparently some of these numbers may not be updating correctly. You can see on ours, it says 0% of agents in the production bracket above yours have opportunities under contract. Hmm. Let's go back over here where this number apparently looks correct. You can see that 94% of agents in the production above this account actually have reached 94% of their goals. Excuse me. The agents in the production bracket above this one has reached 94% of their goal for hitting contacts or getting contacts in their command for this year. Sorry, I messed that up. But anyway, you can come in here and compare those numbers if you would like to, and you can always toggle off that feature if you don't want and just see yourself competing against yourself with reaching your goals. There are a few other circles that are here that you didn't see on your dashboard, so I'm just going to review that again. It pretty much follows the sales pipeline, right? It talks about how many leads that you've gotten in your command that have turned into contacts, how many appointments you've set, how many appointments you've kept, how many agreements you have signed. Think about this being active opportunities, right? An active listing opportunity because now you have a listing agreement signed, or an active buyer opportunity because now you have a BBA signed. Um, so these are signed agreements, things that are in the active phase for your opportunities. And then over here under contract, again, opportunities that are under contract or in the under contract phase within your sales pipeline. And then you have your closed units over there to the far right as well. Still the tiny number underneath showing how many you have year to date, and your annual goals are listed at the bottom. If you come down a little further, this shows you your profit tracker. This will show you three different colors. If you're on track for hitting your profit for this year, this bar will be green. If you are on watch, meaning you are about 80 to 90%, 80 to 99% on track for hitting your profit goal for the year, it will be in yellow, kind of like a warning, like, hey, you might hit it, but not likely. And then you also have an on alert. This means you are not going to hit your profit for the next year. Something needs to change. There needs to be some action taken within your business, right? You can see ours. We are definitely on red alert. We are only tracking to hit 62% of our profit goal for the annual year. So again, just another visual to help you out with your business. You can swap back and forth from seeing this month or this year. And then down at the bottom, more graphics, more visual layout of your business to help you understand where you currently are. On the left are your activities breakdown. This is pulling from activities that are listed within your command contacts, like how many emails have you sent? How many notes have you made? What have you done on Twilio? What about neighborhoods that you've added to contacts? Meetings you've held, smart plans you've sent out to your contacts, and any calendar events you've also added to your contacts within Command. Gives you a pie chart layout. You can hover over each section and it will show you what each one is and the percentages. You can also choose to show the percentages at the bottom. Okay. And then it will show you this month or this year. On the right, remember how we were talking about the sales pipeline? Your leads turn into contacts that turn into appointments set, that turn into appointments kept, and then you start putting ink on paper, right? And so this is just showing you a funnel of the percentages of your business, basically your conversion rates as far as getting down here to hitting your profit goal. So you can view this based on your year's performance or your month's performance. This is your profit goal for the month. And these are how many you've actually gotten and the percentages of how likely they are to get to closing. So your leads have a 5% chance of getting to that closing point and becoming profit for you. And so you can review this chart. Got some people in the waiting room. There you go. And then over on the right, you have your GCI breakdown. Again, another visual to show you your total estimated GCI for the year. You can break that down by the profit you want, plus the cost of your sales, plus your operating expenses. Now, I'm fixing to break that down for you when we go into setting up your 2025 goals. I'll tell you the types of things that will fit into each one of these categories. But again, it's just giving us a visual of how much of our business that we're expecting to bring home as a profit, what that goal is, and you can look at your percentages, and you can also look at it based on a monthly view instead of a yearly view if you want to. Okay. Those are the charts and visuals that you'll see listed on this goals tab right here. So next thing, let's go ahead and start jumping into how to set these up for 2025. You'll notice a teal button over here on the far right, and we'll click goal settings to go ahead and add those in. It gives you a little bit of a reminder. This is what you can expect out of this guide. When you're ready, click get started. On the left is where we are going to fill in our goals. And on the right will be just more of those visuals that we were just seeing on the goals tab. Again, just to help you visually see your business. Up here at the top, you'll notice the 3 steps we're going to walk through. We're going to set our goals, we're going to set our conversion rates, and then we'll actually be able to review our goals before we set them in stone. No matter what, don't overthink it. Don't get stuck on the setting your goals process. At any given time, you can come back in here and edit them. Okay. So don't get too lost in the process of it. And definitely, if you've got the time, come in here and spend some time just fluctuating these numbers back and forth and seeing what would be your realistic goal and then shoot above it, right? And so over here on the left, let's start with these fields. You can see here what year are you setting your goals for? You can choose this year. If you want to go ahead and set some goals for this last month that you're in business, go right ahead. For today's class, we're going to make sure that that says 2025 for next year. Next is what is your 2025 annual profit goal? What this means is how much money do you want to take home before taxes? And it needs to have already subtracted the cost of sales and your operating expenses out of this. Okay, so your cost and expenses have come out. You haven't set anything aside for taxes just yet. What is that bring home amount for you? Okay, so you can go ahead and put your cursor in this field and change the numbers. Let's say we're going to go big or go home next year. This year may have been 200K, but next year we're going to go ahead and double it plus a smidge. So we'll go ahead and aim for 500K next year. And then underneath that field, you will begin to see your expenses and your cost of sales right here. Go ahead and put your cursor in the expenses, and we can adjust this now too. Expenses are going to be things that are paid or incurred no matter what. No matter if you ever sell anything, no matter what you do, if you never actually show a home, what are those expenses that you are going to have no matter what? Let's think about the cost of any lead generation that you're doing, the cost of any marketing, your education. Think about your CE classes. What if you're paying office rent or maybe your tech fee every month? That would be included in expenses. So no matter if you ever have a transaction or not, what are your expenses in business that will be incurred no matter if you have a transaction or not? That's what this field is. Okay. So go ahead and generate that number that you think that that would be for yourself, and you can go ahead and add that in. Let's say we're going to decide to rent a bigger office space this year. So we're going to assume that we're going to actually have higher cost, and we actually might want to double our marketing budget this year. So take that into consideration. So we're going to go ahead and pump up this number for us and say we're going to look at 50K in expenses this year. The field next to that, and by the way, hopefully you're seeing that these visuals are updating in real time, right? So when we added our annual profit goal, over here on the right, you'll start to see those numbers update. Okay. Cost of sales. Now, these are the expenses that are made only when a transaction takes place. Think about your cost of gas showing homes. Think about the amount of money that you put into your listing presentation, because that would be only incurred when you actually have a transaction. Think about when you come into listing photography, right? When you pay that photographer to take listing photos for you. If you pay to have anything specifically done for your listings, like maybe staging, that would all fall into a cost of sale. Okay. If there's anything in particular that you do per transaction, then that would be considered right here under cost of sales. This also, it could include referral fees, split to agents. If you have an agent that you're partnering with, or maybe you have a team, um, it could also mean a fee that you pay your market center um, with your commission rate, things like that. So cost of sales is going to be right here in this field. So you can adjust that to whatever you believe it will be for your business. To keep our numbers super simple, we're just going to go ahead and make it the same as our expenses. Notice our visual over here updated with that information. And then let's actually talk about the business makeup. What percentage of your business is made up of listings, buyers, or leases? Now, if you're just getting into business, this again can just be a goal. It doesn't have to be based on historical metrics. So, what do you want to do as a business? Do you want to run your business 50/50, or just between the listing and the buyer with no leases, like you're not wanting to get into the rental area? You can do that. But you can adjust these how you would like to. I'll back up and show you. That red text is just letting you know this doesn't equal 100%, so it'll alert you if you need to make that change. And you can see this graph right here with your business makeup changing in real time there. Okay, so you can change this how you would like. Once you're done figuring out your business makeup of what you want it to be, again, remember these are your goals. It doesn't have to be historically where you've been at. Maybe you want to go back and say, I'm going to be heavy, heavy lister this year and get out of the rental industry. Then maybe your numbers look like that. Your average commission per unit. Again, this is going to change based on your area, your market, and what's average there. So you can just put your cursor into each one of these fields and make those adjustments. So average commission for a closed listing in your area, what would that go to? Okay, so you can look at your average sales cost or sales price in your area, right? And then do the math between that and what your average commission percentage is, your listing commission. So we're just going to go ahead and make some changes here to ours just to give us nice round numbers. Typically buyers are on the lower end, so let's make that a little lower. And once you're done filling out these fields on the left-hand side, you can review these visuals over here on the right if you would like to. We're going to see these again in just a few moments, but you can come over here to click continue to move forward. Now we're on that second step of setting conversion rates. The good news is these guys automatically populate if you have no idea what your conversion rates are. Okay. So you can always use recommended rates right here, and it will set those percentages in each one of these fields. So these percentages, again, are conversion rates. This is the average conversion rate of a lead when you actually get it, from the time you actually get that lead to it actually getting all the way to a closing in a transaction. So 5% is the average for a lead actually making it all the way to a closing table. Same for contacts. But once you set that first appointment with that contact, there is a 75% chance that you're going to get them to the closing table. That's a big jump, right? Also, same thing with when you keep the appointment, they still have a 75% chance of getting to the closing table. Once you have your agreement signed, on average, 75% of those will get to the closing table. And once you're under contract and pending, 75% of those deals will get to the closing table. Okay. So you can stick with these standard percentages, but if you've been in business for, several months or more, you can go back through your own business, run your own numbers, and see what you've averaged for your own conversion rates. And if you have, you can come right here and choose to set those individually, and that will allow you to put your cursor in these fields and make changes. Maybe you actually specialize in converting leads to closing. So you actually have got a corner on the market for this. And so you can actually come in here and say, look, I'm converting 50% of my leads to actually getting to the closing deal. And so you can come in here and work on this if you would like to and get those adjusted to whatever you would like them to be. This first tab is for listings. Then you would want to set them for buyers and then for leases. You can see that right here in the chart. Green is going to be your listings, the red will be your buyers, and your purple will be your leases. This is the same color coding that you will see within your opportunities tab and command. The sales pipeline is green for listings, red for buyers, and purple for leases. Again, you can toggle off setting them individually and just use recommended rates if you would like to. Once you're done setting your conversion rates, you can come over here and click Continue. This will allow you to review the goals that you've just set. You can see that here under conversion rates, we left them all as standard. And then over here on the right for GCI breakdown, we set our annual estimated GCI to be 600K. That's going to leave us 500K bring home, right? After expenses, after cost of sales, that's the amount of money I'm going to bring home before taxes. Then it'll be, as you know, as an agent, you got to set those taxes aside, right? And so this is my bring home. My cost of sales is right here at 50K. That's averaging about 8.3% of the business. Notice when I hover over this, it also gives you examples of what those fees are, right? Cost of sales, it gives you examples of what that could be. Same for operating expenses right here. If you ever have any questions. And I know a lot of businesses will actually teach that the cost of sales and your operating expenses need to be a certain percentage of your profit. You can keep an eye on that right here. If you say, hey, like I've got some more room that I should be playing with, I need to expect cost of sales to be higher. It should be expecting that to be about 10% or 15%. Whatever it is that you're looking for percentage wise, you can always click the back button and go back into setting your goals and play with those numbers some more if you're wanting them to hit a certain percentage. Okay. For now, we're going to say we're good to go and click Set Our Goals. It brings us back to our Goals tab, again, within the Reports tab of Command. It sets us back on the current year, and we can see that here. But now we can click over to 220. Actually, it still won't. 225, I was just fixing to tell you, it'll show you your 225 goals, but it actually won't. It won't reflect until after this timer is done. So when it actually clicks over to January 1, then those goals will be reflected here, even though you've set them. Okay. You'll start to see them populate for your annual goals down here. And that is it, you guys. That's how you set your goals for 2025. At any point, if you want to come back in and edit those, you can click goal settings again. It looks like it's starting over, but it's okay. Once you get in here, you'll see that it's the same numbers that you just set. And so you can come back in here and make those changes as you want to. Okay, just remember to click continue all the way through and save those when you're done making changes. All right. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the recording, guys. But if you're here with me live and you have any questions or comments, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I'll be happy to get those answered for you right away. If you're watching this back on recording, you can always reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com and we'll be happy to help. Thanks for watching.